If you got some food, oh, don't do that. That'll make it worse. I might fall asleep. So I appreciate you guys being here this afternoon. I know it's not mandatory. I know it's lunchtime. I'm Dr. Hayes. I'm one of the volunteers for the ADA. We're going to be doing, I guess, several of these success programs for you all, for the students here at Temple. And let me see if I can figure out what this. How's that? A little bit better? You guys hear me in the back? You guys not paying attention to this. I was a student once. I know what the back row means. I remember. Okay, so good. So today's topic is finding a job. How many fourth years do we have here today? In the front? 3, 4, third years? Well, I'm sorry. So 5. Third years? In the front too. I love it. I see how that works. As you're getting closer to the door and getting out of here, you get close to the door in the lecture too, huh? And then first and second years, you guys are probably in the back. So take a little bit here. Okay. So no matter what D4 or D3, D2, what D year you are, it doesn't make a difference. This is some good information that we're going to go over today. That's going to be helpful for all of you. Of course, if you're fourth year or third year, it's a little bit more relevant at this time. But for you D2s and D1s, it's coming. Your time is coming. So again, thank you for allowing me to share some time with you this morning during your lunchtime. If you guys, does everyone have a folder? There should be a folder. There's some good information in there. There's some pictures of some of the slides. Not all of them. I've modified some of them for you. But there's a place where you guys can take some notes. So please, anything that's interesting, either you knew or didn't know or want to be reminded of, take some notes and on some of the slides. Also inside of there should be some surveys, some evaluation. Please fill those out on your way out or during the presentation. Again, this is one of, I think, a total of 8 different lectures that the ADA puts on for you all right, in the Success Program. All right, so that's me. Is that me? Yeah, that's me. That's today. It's not called Temple Dental School anymore. What's the new? Kornberg School of Dentistry. So that means he gave a lot of money recently. Okay. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, and we're going to kind of get started. All right. So the things that we're talking about are things as it relates to going from one step to the next step, as far as transitioning your time from dental school on to the next phases as you all being new dentists. All right. Some important information I wanted to share with you guys is that just recently came out in this ADEA snapshot of dental education. Anyone involved with ADEA here? Chapter here? No? Okay.
We're actually just restarting a chapter.
Just restarting a chapter? Okay. For those of you, so that would be good. ADEA is a great organization for dental education, both as dental students and also for those of you that are eventually may consider going into residency programs also. There's also a lot of different scholarships for education, a lot of leadership opportunities. So if you're not familiar with ADEA, here's the address, website address, and you guys can take a look at it. But they just came out with this snapshot of dental education. And I'm not sure if you guys can see it. Let's see if I can see what you guys see. So where do they go from here? It's a breakdown of all the different professional activities and practice options for you all as graduating dental students. So the top line, you can see over 50% of you all will be going into private practice, some form of private practice. You can see residency, 33%, uniform, see if this thing works, uniform dentist, 4.5%. But let's focus on this part right here, and then there's a whole other breakdown that's here too. So intended private practice type for new dentist graduates. You can see 42% of you are going to be employed as an associate dentist in some type of private practice with a sole proprietor. Sorry about that. And then 17% of you are going to be in some kind of group practice, and about 15% are going to be in a corporate practice. All right. So I thought that was interesting, so you guys can kind of see the breakdown. I know this statistic has been increasing over the years, which is group practice as it relates to corporate practices. But no matter what breakdown it is from this 50%, what we're going to be talking about today affects all these different areas. All these different areas. So these are a couple of the, different career options that you all will be exposed to if you haven't already. Associateships, ownership, academic career options, public health, and federal dentist. Fortunately for myself, actually, I love this slide because I've done 4 out of the 5 here at some point in my career. Most recently, I'm in this arena now with a little bit of this too. All right, but these are 5 career options that we're going to talk about. Associateships, most popular. Ownership at some point, right? And I know there's some people that are thinking about being an owner, owning their own practice. Academic, maybe coming back to Temple one day to teach. Okay, public health and federal dentist. I've had a chance to do this. I was in the Air Force for a while also. So these are some career options. But before looking for those career options, you guys as students, as new dentists, need to start thinking about what's going to be the best fit for you. What's going to be the best fit for Victoria, right? I didn't forget your name, Kelly. I had it written down. What's going to be the best fit for Kelly, all right? And these are some of the things you want to be thinking about as far as the workplace culture, the practice philosophy of some of these offices, the scope of practice, lifestyle. How are you going to be able to balance life and work and life? Expectations, right? Expectations are big also. The thing that I want to really focus on is this last one, this professional targets and goals. Professional targets and goals. What are your targets? What are your goals? What are the things that you want to learn most about in private practice? What are the procedures that you want to do or you think you want to do? Get more training on. So first of all, you need to be cognizant of all these different things to find out if it's the right fit, right? So this office here may not be the right one for you. All depends on your fit, what you're looking for. So let's see if this video works. Ty, leave me. No, yeah. Let's see.
There you go.
Let's see if we can get back to it now.
For me, finding a job was interesting, a little bit stressful, but a little bit daunting and exciting.
Nerve-wracking because you have so many other dental students around the nation, including in your class, trying to find a job as well.
I found my first job out of dental school from my mentor by looking for online postings, and luckily some community health centers in my area were hiring.
An ADA meeting I went to where I met a transition company.
And I started talking with faculty members and doing a little bit of networking.
I also spent time at our dental society meetings, meeting new dentists and networking with them so that I could find out if there was anyone that needed help at their office. My first job out of dental school was working as a general dentist in a community health center, an associate in a private practice.
My first job out of dental school was as an associate.
I didn't have only one job, I had 3. And basically what I was able to find for myself were just like 3 different part-time positions in different practices.
My biggest concern during my job search was finding a really great mentor to work with.
To go to a place where I could practice full-time and be happy.
Am I going to be successful at passing my boards?
The worry that I would end up locked in a position where I then found out that it didn't really fit with what I like about dentistry or where I wanted my career to go. I really wanted someone that would show me the ropes of dentistry, the clinical and the business side.
And my goal was to decide which was going to be the right fit for me.
I tried to pair what I enjoyed most in residency with what I wanted to do in my career.
And just through trusting my gut and doing what I thought was right.
So the job search is an exciting time for a new dentist because this is where you actually get to put your clinical skills into practice. But it can also be a scary time because you want to find the place that fits best with you.
I was able to set the foundation of dentistry to get me to where I am now.
Be confident. Stick to your guns stick with what you know, and do the right thing for your patient.
Be proactive.
Never think of their first job as their last one.
It's okay to not be locked into where you want to be coming right out of school.
Finding a job was a little bit of a challenge,
Anticipation, a learning experience.
Arduous.
but you know what? You have to take the risk, and you will do fine. Just do it.
Because there's so much ahead of you.
Okay. So you got a chance to hear from some people about their story. Let me tell you briefly about my story. So I started off I guess a little bit of a long ago, about 20 years ago, as a student at University of Maryland. After that, I did a residency at Bronx Lebanon Hospital, where I'm actually at right now. 1 year GPR residency. After residency, I was in the Air Force. Was there in the Air Force for about 4 years. As a captain in the Air Force, I was stationed in Las Vegas, stationed also in Korea, and also stationed at the Pentagon. They have a big tri-service dental clinic there. And then after being in the Air Force, I actually joined a private practice, of which I was referred to by my uncle, who's a dentist, and here in the New Jersey area. And he referred me to a guy that had a big cosmetic practice in Houston, did a lot of Invisalign, did a lot of Clear Correct. Then I also have worked in the corporate sector as far as working with Pacific Dental Services, Smile Brands. These are maybe one of about 5 or 6 large corporate practices that have over 300 offices throughout the country. And after doing that, I actually set up my own practice in Burbank, California. I was there for about 4 years. Great experience. Had to come back home to New Jersey, had a family emergency, and linked back up almost where I started some 20 years before that, back at Bronx Lebanon. I'm the program director for the GPR program that's there. So that's kind of like my story, but a lot of it has some relationship to finding jobs and getting around the country, being in different situations, different types of career options, but also different types of practice options too. All right. So let's talk about your CV or your resume. First of all, who knows the difference between a CV and a resume? What's the difference? You guys got your laptops up. What's the difference? Anyone know? Come on, there's a lot of intelligent students in here. What's the difference? 30 years, what's the difference between a CV and a resume? No, you don't know? 4 years, can you help them out? What's the difference?
I think resume is more geared toward a job, whereas CV is more geared toward like a residency or internship. And there's usually a difference in terms of amount of detail.
Yep. Sounds good. Anyone agree, disagree? CV is more for maybe academic careers, for residency maybe, some of the things you can note, some of your research, some other types of publications that you're doing. Resume, it can be interchangeably used for dental, but also for other jobs also. So not that much of a difference, all right? But some of the stuff that you see here on this slide is just basically you guys already know as it relates to finding a job. You know, no more than 3 pages. You want to use bullets. The most important information first, all right? And we'll talk about why that's important. Try to take away anything that is not related to the job that you're interviewing for or applying to. Stuff that's in college you may not need to have on there. Use up all the space. And I was talking to Ty, who's one of the 3rd years. He was saying he was getting his CV together and he wants to get it all on 1 page, right? So he's going to be using all that white space. There won't be any white space on that 1 page if he's trying to get it all on 1 page. Jargon. You want to stay away from certain types of words. Update quarterly. I actually think you should be updating them on a monthly basis, especially if you're doing publications or doing presentations out in the community, whether as a dental student or even as a new dentist. And then this last question I want to pose to you all as it relates to how long do you think you have to make the best first impression with your CV or resume? How long? How long do you think? Someone's shaking their head. He's like, I don't know.
It's like a minute.
A minute? All right. So we got a minute.
5 seconds.
5 seconds?
4 seconds.
4 seconds? Uh-oh. Minute, 5 seconds, 4 seconds. Anybody else? You got about 5 to 8 seconds. So when they're looking at this document, we're looking at this document, we're making a determination within 5 to 8 seconds whether or not we're going to call you for an interview. So with that being said, you want to make sure you have your most relevant information first, because there's not a lot of time. And also what it looks like is also important too. All right? So some ways to get started as far as once you've got your resume together, how do you start the whole process? You heard some different perspectives on the video, but here are some other ways. So first, the ADA. There's a great resource available to you all as members, student members, but also as new dentists for careers. I actually like LinkedIn. Anyone have a LinkedIn account? 3, 4, 5 people? For the 3rd years and 4th years, everybody's hand should be up. This is the #1 social network for professionals. A lot of networking on this platform, all right? They even have a LinkedIn for, I want to say college students or something like that now. It's always changing, but strongly consider getting a LinkedIn account. Make sure you do your profile picture, you look nice, all right? No blue scrubs, all right? Alumni news. You guys can even go on the website for Temple. They're always looking for Temple graduates, right? Through alumni news, different magazines through the university. Okay. Craigslist. I've actually posted some jobs looking for staff members for my office in Craigslist. And there's probably another one, Angie's List. I'm not really familiar with that one, but another area where you can start to look. And then, of course, your dental associations, whatever state. If it's here in Pennsylvania, you're thinking about staying here, but all throughout the country, there are dental associations that have job listings. All right, so these are some areas where you can get started. Some other alternatives, so these that you see here, Dental Town. Who's familiar with Dental Town? Again, another one. Everyone's hand needs to go up. Dental Town is the bomb, guys. Some really great content with regards to clinical procedures. There's a lot of people, both new dentists and seasoned dentists, that pour into different cases that they're working on. But there's also a job classified ad in Dental Town, in the magazine, which you can actually get both via email, or you can get the actual hard copy. All right. Indeed.com is one of the top search engines for jobs. You put in your email address, you put in what state or city that you're looking for jobs at, and then you also put in your salary range. And then what Indeed does is they'll send you automatic updates. Anytime they get there's an update for a job that's posted in their database, they send you the email. All right? Free, all free. Same thing with I Hire Dental, the Academy of General Dentistry. Even as a student member, you can go onto the website, have a classified jobs ad, you can find things there. And then also your dental suppliers. These suppliers are always in contact with dentists that are opening up new offices, and then also who are looking for people in their office. So these are some helpful alternatives as far as resources. But this one is probably just as powerful too. All of you in this room know at least 10 people, right? Those 10 people know 10 people, and so on and so forth. So at any given time, just because I know her, I probably know 100 other people also. Some of which may be dentists, some of which probably have a dentist that maybe are looking for an associate, all right? This is a powerful thing, not only for looking for your jobs, but just throughout your career. It's tapping into this network. I call it your power base. This is where you get your power and your strength and a lot of your successful actions through these people right here, your power base. It's not always what you know, but what do you say? Who you know. It's not always what you know, but who you know. And who you know may be able to give you some more information about a job that you're looking for, that you didn't even know was available also. Okay? Some networking tips. I mean, most of us as dentists are somewhat sociable, right? So this is kind of like a review, but plan ahead. Ask for introductions. Listen, right? There's a reason why God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, right? Listen. Spend more time listening, even as it relates to patients too. We should be listening as to what they're saying and then also what they're not saying. It's going to tell us a lot about how to treat them, but also listening to people as you're out interacting. All right? Going to national meetings or regional meetings. Anytime there's a meeting here for the state of Pennsylvania or even for alumni groups, you guys need to be going to those meetings, meeting people. There's a job, there's probably 3 or 4 job opportunities right there waiting for you, just making an introduction at these groups. One of the biggest ones that I wanted to mention to you all was the Greater New York Dental Meeting. It's the largest meeting in the country. It's going to be happening in about a couple weeks in New York around Thanksgiving time. Not only is it a great resource to see all the new different products and vendors and stuff that's out there, but it's a great networking resource also for different jobs, different opportunities. So start thinking about this first year, second year, third year, going to those meetings and doing some networking. So managing your online reputation. Managing your online reputation. 20 years ago when I came out of dental school, this wasn't even a slide, even to talk about, all right? But it's important to mention now because of social media and how we access information. Dental school 20 years ago, not everyone had laptops in front of them. Everything was pen and paper, taking notes, or note service. Do you guys have note service? Like a note service, transcribing service? No, you guys have videos, some kind of video service. So, your online reputation. Why is this important? Because we as employers, and one day you as employers also, are going to be getting some information about the people you're going to be hiring. Right? You're going to be getting some information about you, about those other people. And these are the ways that it can come across. LinkedIn, again, I think everyone in this room should have a LinkedIn account at some point. Get that established. Twitter, Instagram, I use it. I have both a personal account and then I also have a professional account. It's a way of disseminating information, but it's also a way of getting information. I get new connections every day from people that do the same thing that I do, or also things that I may be interested in, all from just interacting on Twitter and Instagram. Facebook, again, same thing. You can have a personal account, but you can also create your own page, right? Create your own page, maybe post some pictures, before and after pictures of your work, which leads me to one of the things I really like about being online is this one website, and this is just one of many, where you can create your own website. And I like Wix because I can upload cases that I'm working on and use it as part of my CV or my resume. Right? If you have your own name, drsmith.com or smiledrsmith.com. And as part of your CVs, part of your cover letters, part of your credentials, you can send potential employers to your website, and we can see your cases that you're working on or that you've completed, right? Because remember, if there's 3 jobs if there's 1 job available, all of you, about 50 people, all of you may be applying for the same job. Everyone's going to have the same piece of credential. Everyone's going to have a resume. But what's the thing that's going to be different between you and you? It could be your website that you've created that shows all your different cases that you're working on, that you've completed either as a dental student or as a new dentist. Just something to kind of think about, all right? And being able to manage all this is a way of how you get connected and find out information and find that ideal job. that one that's going to be the best fit for you. All right, there's many ways where you can get that inflow coming into you by being online and managing it. So let's keep moving. So the cover letter. How many of you have used a cover letter before? A couple people, more so on this side. Okay. Cover letter is like the key that opens up your opportunity and helps to kind of share what you have to say or what's part of your CV. All right, it should be 3 paragraphs. Why are you applying to this position? What makes you a great fit for the position? And one of the things I always tell candidates is request an interview. Right? Request an interview. It shouldn't be thought that it's just automatically assumed that I got your CV and you're going to get an interview. Request it. Ask for it. Okay? What makes you a great fit? That was something I was going to share with you about that. We'll come back to that. But a cover letter. All those applications and or CVs or resumes that you're sending out to potential employers must have a cover letter. And it's best that you have a cover letter that has something to do with the position that you're applying for. All right? You want to find out more about that office by maybe checking their online reputation, checking their website, and perusing and seeing what they're about. And you can need to include that as part of some of your content in your cover letter. All right? We're looking for similarities. How are we similar? How are you going to be a good fit for the office, but also how it's going to be a good fit for you? You have to do some research about the office. Preparing for interviews. Right? You guys have done this already when you were applying for dental school. You know, you came in with nicely dressed, maybe not a bow tie, but nicely dressed. All right? It's the same thing. You have to prepare for you going out and looking professional. All right? For men, suit and tie. Suit and tie. Dark suit. Some nice clean leather shoes. You want to look well groomed. Trimmed haircut, right? Clean shave. Shaved this morning. Nice, warm, inviting smile, right? The feel of confidence, formally dressed. Firm handshake. Firm handshake. It's important. Men and women. I don't want some lame handshake. That doesn't. All right? And your body posture. You guys, a lot of stuff you guys are doing that now as far as ergonomics and clinic. You're not slouching over your back. You got your loops up. This should be the same thing when you're going on in the interview. That nice body posture too. Okay? That imbues and shows us that you're confident about yourself. Body language is key. You can tell a lot about a person, whether intentionally or unintentionally, by their body language. You guys see it every day with patients, I'm sure, too. You can tell the patients who just do not want to be here just by their body language. Or if you're talking to them, they're not making eye contact with you. They're looking over there but talking to you over here. All right, so body language is important also. For women, I can't really talk about women because I'm not a woman, but at the same time, clean hair, professional, nails, nails and everything nicely trimmed, neat, skirt as far as knee length. I think Hillary Clinton is bringing back the pantsuit, right? Good time, pantsuits. I've had some residents that are interviewing and they got their pantsuit working for them, all right? Neutral stockings, things like that. These are just some takeaways or just some examples. But again, there are some rules and to the attire and how you're supposed to present yourself. So the interview. So this is the reason why you do the research. This is the reason why you manage your online reputation. This is the reason why you create your website. This is the reason why you do the cover letter. So you can get the interview. That's the next step. That's the next step. You want to be prepared. You want to be able to answer the question, why you? Why should I be hiring you for this position? If you don't know, you've got to figure it out or come up with your answer before you go into the interview. All right? How are you going to contribute to the office? You have to know a little bit about the office first, right? That's important. How are you going to contribute to the office? a list of some questions that you have. You gotta have questions. There is no such thing as a dumb question. Only dumb question is the one that you don't ask. You've got to have questions about the office. You don't know everything about the offices that you're going to be going into. Have a list of questions. And just like I told you guys, take notes. Take notes. If you're not taking notes, use your cell phone and record, if you can record some of the things that you're talking about in the interview, because 48 hours, 70% of it gets lost. Just like in class here. All right, take notes, because you may want to refer back to something later on after the interview is over with. So for interview, these are some of the things that they're going to ask you. Some of the things we used to ask associates that are coming into the offices I've worked in. Molar endo. How comfortable are you with molar endo? How many cases have you worked on? Are you comfortable with rotary? Extractions. How comfortable are you with third molar extractions? I know coming out of dental school, we didn't do any third molar extractions in Maryland. What's the requirement here for extractions? 125? You have to do 125 extractions to graduate. For what? For a senior year. I have no idea what that means.
So 75 minimum, 120.
Oh, for A grade.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. I got you. So extractions, how comfortable are you with doing extractions? When can you start? How many patients do you normally see a day? Dental school is what? Still 2, right? Or maybe 3, depending on if you have a clerkship. Maybe even more if you do some rotations. You probably guys are going out to places where you're increasing your speed. And are you comfortable seeing kids? What about presenting treatment plans? How do you present a treatment plan to make sure that the patient says yes? And let me see a couple of examples of your work. You talk about, we do a lot of veneers. One office I was in, we did a lot of veneers, a lot of cosmetic dentistry. Do you think he was going to hire me if I hadn't done any cases like that? Probably not. Probably not. Again, another reason why it's good to document what you're doing now using a website, one that you can create for yourself. Also for endo, I tell all my residents, especially those that are applying to endo programs, before and after pictures. You should be documenting all those cases that you're doing, before and after pictures. And you can post them on your website. Maybe a little small narrative as to the case, maybe the filing system that you use, anything that was challenging, anything about the case. Short little journal, before and after pictures. You'd be surprised at how many of you are not doing that and how that helps you stand out in front of all the other 50 people that are applying for the same position. That's a whole nother lecture. All right, again, as far as questions to ask them, you might want to ask them about the hours, their Saturday hours, the duties, expectations of you as an associate, compensation. How am I going to get paid? Per diem, which is a flat rate per day, or is it a percentage of production? You definitely need to know that, all right? Because that'll drive what you do in the office. And then, as far as it's called a restrictive covenant. Basically, if you work here in this part of Philly, there may be a 5-mile radius that employer does not want you to work in. All right, if you were to leave the office. So you need to ask that question. I've had a couple of residents that have graduated, and they were working in 2 offices, and they had a restrictive covenant for each office. Before you knew it, she couldn't even work in New Jersey. She had to work in Pennsylvania if she was to leave because the restrictive covenant was so wide. I was like, that's not a good contract. You don't want that. All right? And then find out, this is key for me, find out exactly what's needed and wanted in the office. You may have an office that needs an associate to work, to be on call in the evenings, just in case there's an emergency. Of course, nobody wants to do that, but if that's what's needed and wanted, that may be what allows you to get that position. What are you willing to do to compensate, or what are you willing to contribute to the office? Again, guys, just things to think about. Things to think about. And then after the interview, this is a must. This is a must. You must have some kind of thank you card, handwritten. You buy some stationery and handwritten notes saying thank you for the opportunity to interview. I really liked the CERIC, what you guys do in the office with CERIC. And that on the bottom, and pick one thing or personal thing and mention one thing that you had a conversation about during the interview. You want to pick one or two things and include that in your thank you card. As part of what you're referencing in the thank you. All right. Again, not a lot of people are doing it. It seems easy and simple, right? Guarantee you, a lot of people still do not do that. After the offer, this is a contract. I think you guys are going to be getting a lecture this evening about understanding contracts and more about negotiating contracts. But the main thing is getting it in writing. Getting it in writing. My mentor told me, hey, if it ain't written, it ain't true. The same thing when you guys are writing notes for patients, right? Patient said this, or you said this to the patient, and then for whatever reason, you guys go into court, and the patient can turn around and say, no, I didn't say that. Ms. Jones, remember you said X, Y, and Z, and then I said this. If it's not written and documented, it ain't true. It's the same thing with your contracts. The employer says, oh, no, don't worry about working Saturdays. You know, we'll work something out if you don't get a schedule. But if it's not in writing, how's it going to hold up? Understand your contract. You guys will get a little bit more about that tonight. Clarification, negotiate. If you're not savvy with negotiation, let somebody else do it. It's not your forte. That's normally not our forte. Have somebody else that can help you negotiate some of the terms. All right? So that's the contract. So we're going to be closing up. We're going to actually have some time for some questions if you guys have some. So just to recap, we talked about different places to search and how to do your search with using networking, also using things on websites, different organizations that you can go to that have classified ads about job postings. All right? We talked about your resume, your CV, and the cover letter, and why that's important regarding you getting the next step, which is the interview. You're looking to stand out. You're looking to be different than all those other people that are in the room or that are applying to that same position. And then we talked about managing your online presence and how that can create opportunities for you as far as new job referrals. And also networking with other people online. Interview questions. And also with the interview, we talked about questions that may be asked of you and things that you definitely need to ask the employer or those that are conducting the interviews. Thank you notes, all right? And we talked a little bit about contracts, too. A lot of the things that I'm talking about today is kind of like from my experience, but there's a whole lot of other information that's here just through the ADA, through the Success Program. You guys can go on this link, and there's so much stuff there. I know your time is limited between patients and requirements and sleep. You guys still sleep in dental school, right? Yeah? Okay. But on your free time, but you just have to carve out your day so that you have time to do some research in some of these areas, especially you third and fourth years. Especially the fourth years, okay? As far as the ADA, again, they have a new dentist program every year, at least recently, the last 2 years. There's a new dentist conference, which I recommend for all of you to attend. Next year is going to be in Atlanta. Anybody from Georgia in here? Probably all Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Connecticut folks, right? But next year is going to be in Atlanta. They have a separate program just for you guys as new dentists. CE tracks, speakers, all that kind of stuff, all right? And that's the value of being involved in organized dentistry, to go to these different types of conferences and learn, network, all right? Someone asked me earlier, I think Ty asked me, how did I get involved with the ADA? It all started for me doing CE. I was a CE junkie, still am. And that's how I kind of continued my involvement with organized dentistry. Even here in dental school, I was active in the SNDA and also with the Academy of General Dentistry. All right? But again, memberships, I think for you all, after dental school, even after residency. It's pennies on the dollar. They have a lot of great benefits. So some of that information is here in your package too. You guys can check that out. All right. So that's my time. I've got some time for questions, comments. If I could be a resource, this is one of the reasons why I do this, because I want to help you guys as new dentists. All right. Question.
In terms of,
I might have to have you talk to the mic here. I don't know. If you guys don't have any questions or just want to hang out, please, before you leave, fill out those surveys. Fill out those surveys, and maybe we'll get Victoria to help us collect those. All right. What's the question?
So in terms of the thank you letter, if you're like in an interview when you're interviewing with multiple people, is it you just gonna send one to the entire office, or are you gonna address one to each person you talk to?
So the question is, if you're interviewing in an office that you're interviewing with multiple people, how do you handle the thank you person, or how do you handle the thank you cards? One person I interviewed, second person I interviewed, third person I interviewed. 3 cards. That's my recommendation.
And then would it be just like sending one address and each person would get it from there?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to send it to that person. Yep. Dr. John Smith, 123 Broad Street. Dr. Leslie Williams, 123 Broad Street. Yep. You want each of them to have a separate thank you. Yep. Any other questions? Comments? Yes. You go.
How beneficial was the GPR program for your general dentistry after the residency?
Night and day. That's a whole nother lecture. But for those, you 4th year, yeah. What are your plans? Because May 15th or whatever graduation is coming soon.
I applied.
Good. You should. I actually think it should be mandatory that all graduating dental students do some type of GPR or advanced dental education program. You guys don't know what you don't know. Then you know. You guys have no idea. Doing a GPR is very helpful and exploring many different ways of dentistry. And it's part of continuing education, but it's also part of what we do in this profession, which is lifelong learning. Right? Everything that you learn here at Temple is a good foundation, but there's so much more. You guys have to learn and get experienced in. Another question.
What are you looking for in a personal statement or cover letter, stand out to you from the candidates?
What am I looking for in a personal statement or a cover letter from candidates for a job or for residency?
For residency.
For residency, that's another lecture too. I don't know if the ADA is going to let me talk about that. But for the most part, we want to tell a story. Right? Some of the best speakers, before they speak, they're to be able to engage you and actually talk to you. They're telling a story, either about themselves or about a situation. Right? Because then people are like, oh, tell us more. Oh, what happened to that? Oh, what happened? It's a story. It gets you engaged. So your personal statement should tell a story about you. Because all I have is a piece of paper and some black ink. That's it. How are you going to work that medium to tell a story about you so you can get to the next level, which is be granted an interview? Somebody else had a question? You were stretching back there, man? You all right? Good? Okay. Any other questions? All right, guys. I think we're getting close. I think the other classes come in. Again, please fill out those surveys. I would love to come back. There's some other topics that you guys, I think, the school has signed up for. But again, if I can be of any resource,